Chubb, and then now they're getting Kareem Hunt back. Their run game is really solid. So we can see if Cleveland can establish their run game against this Buffalo team and kind of makes a little bit easier for Baker to operate it. Pick and rolls, play action plays, things of that nature there. But Buffalo got to get it done. They can't let this one slip away. Like, I can't take Buffalo serious. And another thing with them as well is, to me, that's holding their team back is their quarterback, Josh Allen, who I don't think is really good. He's not a good quarterback. He's average at best. I don't get this notion. Well, I mean, I do get it. Buffalo fans can be a little irrational about shit sometimes. But, I mean, he shows signs. He has shown signs of his elite talent. Crazy arm strength, very athletic, can run, can move. That's just a statue in the pocket. But I seen him make too many mistakes that put this Bills team in bad positions where the defense have to go and bail them out. And I've also said that he's going to be the main reason that this Buffalo team doesn't go as far as they should, honestly. He has to get more consistent. He has to play better. One thing I will say, though, he has shown some I want to say moxie late in games. Like against Miami, he kind of got his shit together and he's able to pull that one off. There was another game as well I can't think of. I think it was the Bengals. They and honestly should have lost that game too. But, he pulled his shit together and led him down to a game's leading score. And they, never relinquished it after that. But I don't know, man. I just don't see it from Josh Allen. When he's originally drafted, I still don't understand how all those quarterbacks got drafted over Lamar. And I'm gonna touch on that topic when I get to my Ravens. But yeah, man, Josh Allen, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But Buffalo is on that fringe right now where, they got a good record, but I think they're one of those teams where they're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. But when it comes to actual competition, when it comes to actual teams that are contenders, they don't beat them. They just don't. So I guess we'll see what happens there. Yo, I just looked at this team here, Chicago. I was just talking to my cousin Howie. Shout out to Howie. I plan on having him on the podcast eventually when he comes up. But he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and they got Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes and also Deshaun Watson both went in the same draft as Mitchell Trubisky. And I was like, yo, imagine being, and this is part of Imagine culture right now, which is, where did that come from? Imagine being the person that invented salsa, all that shit there, whatever. But imagine being the Chicago Bears and trading up one pick to go draft fucking Mitch Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. Imagine that. And it just goes to show, like, a lot of these GMs, and obviously I'm not qualified to say what a GM should and should not do. I'm just a regular dude who just likes football. But honestly, I can't see what happens, and I can kind of have my own judgment on that. I could have told y'all Mr. Trubisky wasn't going to be fucking good. The dude didn't do shit. Like, you go, and I'm not the huge college football guy, but I can go and watch a couple of college games, and I can tell you if a quarterback is good. How the fuck do you go and justify drafting Mitch Trubisky, who I think went to North Carolina? How do you justify drafting him over Deshaun Watson, who all Deshaun Watson did was dominate fucking the college football ranks, go and beat elite teams. He went head to head with Alabama twice, lost the first one, but put on a phenomenal performance in that national championship game. And then the year after that, went out there and beat them boys. And again, another phenomenal performance. How do you justify taking Trubisky, who I don't even know who his best win was against, but you somehow talked yourself into taking that guy based on what? I think a lot of times GMs get too caught up in this the finding characteristics, quote unquote, of what they think is going to be an elite talent at quarterback. Because, I mean, I guess he looks the part. He's a 6'4", 225, 230 pounds, has a decent arm, can stand in the pocket and deliver, has a good throwing motion, and blase. But I'm like, yo, what has he done against actual competition? This is like the same thing with Josh Allen. Like, the dude, and I don't care where he went to school at, but he didn't play well when he was in school. Like, you go look at his numbers, you go look at his games, he looked like shit, for lack of a better term. Same thing with Trubisky. Like, how did you talk yourself into taking Trubisky over Deshaun Watson? And on top of that, Patrick Mahomes, who is the reigning MVP and the best quarterback in the NFL when healthy. Holy shit, they traded up to draft that guy, like one spot ahead. They went up and like somebody's going to come and steal Trubisky from them. Who wanted him? Man, that really set this franchise back, man. Because this Chicago Bears team is literally, that has a Super Bowl roster. You go look at the Chicago Bears team from top to bottom. They have a Super Bowl contending roster. And what's holding them back is just an adequate quarterback. He doesn't even have to be great. He could be just good. And they could be Super Bowl contenders in that NFC conference. Like, legit, they have a Super Bowl defense. They have one of the greatest defensive players of this generation in Khalil Mack, who was just a game changer. Tariq Cohen on offense. Overall, their offense is solid. They got playmakers all across the board. But Matt Nagy, he's a solid head coach. I like him. But he's just limited to what Trubisky can do, man. The dude just doesn't get it. Man, that GM sucks. Whoever made that decision, man. Oh my God, he's gonna deliver that for the rest of his life. He literally passed on an MVP and also a potential MVP in Deshaun Watson. Who, by the way, man, shout out to Deshaun Watson. That motherfucker is the truth. Stop playing with that man. I was all in on Deshaun Watson when I seen him in Clemson. You just seen it, man. He had that shit about him. It's just certain players that got that shit, man. It's whatever you want to call it, the it factor. I call it that shit. Like, they just got it. You know they got it. When it comes down to it, they're going to make that play. When it comes down to it, they're going to put the team on their back and they're going to make shit happen. That's what Watson was doing in college. That's what justified him being the top quarterback that should have been taken in his draft class. And honestly, probably should have been number 1 overall pick. But Patrick Mahomes, I really didn't know much about. But again, shout out to my cousin Howie. He's one of those guys I lean on for my football information as well, to kind of bounce back information with. And he's the one that told me, like, yeah, man, Patrick Mahomes, I was hoping my Kansas City Chiefs would go and get him. Like, he's saying, like, we could probably sneak him in the second round. Oh, Kansas City traded up for that boy. They traded up a first round pick with Buffalo and then another one in the year after that. So 2 first rounders. And they went and got their quarterback, and fucking phenomenal move because their GM is actually smart. Actually, I think, is it Dorsey the GM for the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know GM names. I just know mine. Shout out to Eric DaCosta. But yeah, man, shout out to the Chiefs. They made that move and they set their franchise up for the next 10, 12, 15 years with such a phenomenal talent in Patrick Mahomes, man. This dude is stupid good. Oh, man, I feel bad for Chicago fans. You could have had one of these guys. Oh, y'all could have had one of them. Chicago would probably be a Super Bowl favorite right now. But you got to live with your boy Trubisky. So that sucks. A couple other things I wanted to touch on. Then actually, it's a game coming up this week, Seahawks and 49ers. And this is going to be a really good game, Monday nighter. I'm looking forward to this one. First of all, I want to personally admit on this podcast, and I've been critical of the 49ers. They was not a team that I personally believed in. I didn't give them any credit. Jimmy Garoppolo I felt was overrated. I felt like Shanahan still had a lot to prove, and I wasn't too sure about this defense. I was wrong, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. 49ers are fucking legit. The Niners are back. Man, this team is good. This defense is elite. They got these boys playing. Shanahan is coming up with offensive game plans, and he's putting his players in the best position to succeed. They have an awesome offensive line. They have an awesome tight end. And then they was able to go out and get Emmanuel Sanders, a very good wide receiver, to give Jimmy Garoppolo an actual number one target. The kid running back, Breida, I think he's a rookie wherever he came from. He is something different. I like that guy. I like that man. And Jimmy G, man, Garoppolo, he doesn't, you look at his numbers and he's putting up decent numbers. There's nothing to be like, oh shit, he's going crazy. It's nothing like that. But that man has looked really good when his team needs him, when the Niners need Garoppolo to come through, he comes through. That Cardinals game, he was going blow for blow with them, and shout out to the Cardinals as well. I like Kyler Murray. I fucks with Kyler Murray a lot. They was going blow for blow back and forth, and Jimmy G stepped up. We've seen in other past games this season as well. He gets it done. he does. And that, like I said, go back to that defense, man. That defense is ill. This is very reminiscent of the 2011, 2012 Niners that went to the Super Bowl, where that defense was elite. Right? They just had elite talent all across the board. This is another team again. And if you know me at all, I mean, I've been a Ravens fan my whole life, so I grew up on defensive football. But I've followed the old adage of defense win championships. You know, I'm a firm believer in that. And yeah, this Niners team right now, they're the best team. Honestly, they're the best team in the NFL, top to bottom. Like if you had to ask me right now who's my Super Bowl favorite, and you know, with the Patriots losing, of course, it does have a little bit to do with it. But yeah, the Niners, I like them. I like them a lot. Shout out to the Niners, man. I wanted to go and be a little biased here, if y'all will allow me, about my Baltimore Ravens. And I got some shit to say. Okay. So obviously, we went up against the New England Patriots, the undefeated New England Patriots at the time. And obviously after the game, they're undefeated no more because they came into Baltimore and they got their asses whooped by the team that does not fear the Patriots and never did fear the Patriots, because we know the Patriots are who we thought they were. Y'all see me put that on Facebook after we won that game. They are who we thought they were. And obviously Lamar Jackson he's firmly in the MVP conversation, along with other quarterbacks as well. And actually, I got to go back to Seahawks with Russell Wilson. I got to talk about him too, and I wrapped it up. But yeah, man, Lamar, and I was trying to tell people that Lamar Jackson he's a special player, man. He's a special person, and everybody got caught up with what they seen last year. And I want to keep saying this until y'all get this. I need y'all to understand this. Last year, he was thrown into the fire, in which he had an offense that was completely designed for Joe Flacco. All right, because Joe Flacco was QB1. They established an offense for Joe Flacco. Training camp, Joe Flacco got all the first team runs. Joe Flacco was a starter for the first, 4 weeks or 6-7 weeks of that season. He gets hurt. Lamar comes in, and now we pretty much established an offense on the fly with Lamar last year. And the man went on a fucking 6-game run when he won 6 games and lost 1 and got us into the playoffs by winning the division. And people just kind of based Lamar of what his career is going to be based on what they've seen last season, where we ran him a lot. We ran the man a lot. and he basically was